Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week we watched some more Season 2 episodes of The Muppet Show, and these are the ones that aired between October 31st, 1977 and November 11th, 1977 in New York. So we're talking about the episodes featuring Steve Martin, Bernadette Peters, and Milton Berle. And normally we'd say we watch all these on Disney+, but there's actually a song and a short scene that is removed from the Bernadette Peters episode on Disney+. So we watched that episode on archive.org, which is where you can still find the full version of that episode. But yeah, as I mentioned, Sam, the first episode aired on October 31st. And this episode that we're recording right now comes out on October 25th.
Oh, wow.
So this is technically our Halloween episode.
Yeah, I guess so. Did you get your Big Bird costume done?
Let's see. Right now, I will say no. But hopefully by Halloween weekend, it will be done. But, you know, I really don't know if it'll get done in time.
Well, I think it's possible that we have 5 years until we can safely have another big Halloween party. So you have time. It better look fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's my worry is that like I can get a version of it done in a couple weeks from now when Halloween's happening, but that it won't be the version I want to like share and show online. So people might be seeing like a December 7th Halloween costume from me.
Then you're just some weird guy.
Yeah, you know, he dressed up as Carol Spinney for Black Friday.
Yeah. And Carol Spinney comes back to life and is like, "What are you doing?" Buddy, what are you doing?
Have you figured out your costume yet?
We were both going to be Santa Claus.
That's pretty good.
And we were planning on ordering like really nice Santa Claus outfits just because we thought it would be funny, which we still maybe will do, but I don't think they're going to get here in time.
Yeah,
now.
You're pushing it.
Currently, the debate is, are we going to actually order really nice Santa Claus outfits? And if we do, does that mean that we'll have to rent ourselves out as party Santas to make up for the fact that we spent more than $150 on Santa Claus costumes?
There is that thing with like
I think that would be
expensive
fun.
Halloween costume accessories where you're like, I have to be able to reuse this because I can't justify wearing this one time and then just having a Santa costume in my closet.
Yeah. So we wanted to get nice ones. We're looking even at like professional Santa websites, and it's like the ambassador model and stuff like that. And we're like
professionalsantas.org or something.
It is basically, it's like santasworkshop.com or something like that. I don't know what the fuck we're going to do now, but
But yeah, speaking of Halloween week, you're doing some extra spooky Halloween podcasting.
Well, yeah, the release schedule's been a little screwed up, but my plan. So Rachel and I have a podcast, Real Love, and it's a movie review podcast that we haven't done for about 3 years. But this year we went to Target and to CVS and to all the different stores around town and bought all the gimmicky Halloween candy we could find. So not just like fun size Hershey bars or whatever. We went and bought like stuff with fake blood in it and like stuff shaped like bats. And so we have like 20 different gimmicky candies, and we are recording a podcast reviewing them. I think the plan right now is I'm just going to drop them all in one big batch. We have like 15 of them recorded or something like that, and then we have another maybe like 10 candies to review. So when you're listening to this, maybe there will be 12 candy reviews waiting for you.
There's at least one.
And I have a bunch more that I'm going to work on tonight and drop all at once. So if you subscribe to the Real Love podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, that's where we're releasing it. REEL, like a movie reel, because it's a movie review podcast.
about candy.
Well, now it's about candy, okay?
It's helping me know, like, okay, I don't think I need to go buy the Shrieking Skittles because
They're good.
They sounded okay, but like not like incredibly like better
No.
than normal Skittles. I'm excited to. Did you guys pick up the like turkey dinner candy corn?
We decided that didn't quite count. We're still going to go buy a bag, but we're maybe going to review that the day after Halloween or something. 'Cause it's
yeah,
a
it is just
Thanksgiving
like
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Thanksgiving candy corn.
Yeah.
I've been downing mostly just like a lot of the traditional like Hershey bar, like fun sizes, and then like the Reese's pieces, and
Yeah.
just the more traditional, less fun Halloween candies.
Yeah, I think the sad true fact about gimmick Halloween candy is that if it was good, they'd sell it year round. It's usually just kind of okay.
But speaking of Halloween and things that aired in the past on Halloween,
What is another thing that aired in the past on Halloween?
the Steve Martin episode of The Muppet Show.
Oh, we weren't speaking of things that aired in the past on Halloween.
We're talking about Halloween, Sam. It's our Halloween episode, and we already did a spooky episode, so it feels
Okay.
weird that this is our Halloween episode.
Well, it feels weird that this was the Muppet Show Halloween episode too. So
That's true. 44 years ago, this is what the Muppets decided to air on Halloween for some reason. And Sam's now going to tell us all about it.
on Halloween Day, 1977, you could switch on the old boob tube and see a hot, young, but still silver-haired comedian Steve Martin bring his antics to the Muppet Show. Sort of. You see, in this episode, Kermit forgot that he canceled the Muppet Show to screen new acts. So the Muppet Show regulars go out into the audience, and they watch as a variety of comedy, musical, and dance acts hit the stage, including Statler and Waldorf doing a ragtime number. Kermit pretty much tells every single one of them that they suck, because he sucks. And then Steve Martin is hurt that his episode was canceled, but he is still a good sport and gets on stage and performs his stand-up act a few times. Then at the end, everybody gets together for the big jug band number he had been rehearsing all week. Because I guess Kermit just forgot to tell him that the show was canceled. And then once all the audience is there and everybody has been rehearsing all week, apparently, he's just like, well, I forgot I canceled the Muppet Show. Anyway, Kermit's bad manager. Steve Martin is now, as you know, a world-famous comedian, but at the time of this episode, he had just released his first comedy album. But to be fair, I think he had already been a much-loved SNL host multiple times, had been on TV a billion times, and was super well-known. But anyway, his comedy album was huge in a way that I don't think comedy albums really get anymore, and from this point, his star will basically just keep rising until this very day, throughout the rest of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And according to Wikipedia, he introduced the air quotes to American popular culture. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He popularized them, it says. Next week, singer and actress Bernadette Peters, who will go on to star with Steve Martin in The Jerk in a couple of years, in fact, joins the show, and, unfortunately, so does Robin. Kermit's little nephew is hanging out backstage, and he's very sad that everybody keeps ignoring him and overlooking him because he's so small. So he whines and whines and whines about it until Bernadette Peters sings him an inspirational song and gives him a little kiss, and this emboldens him in the deleted scene that you can't see on Disney Plus, to take the stage and sing a stupid little song. Meanwhile, Kermit starts off the show with a duet with Miss Mousie, enraging Miss Piggy, who spends the rest of the show slandering Miss Mousie. That doesn't really go anywhere that I can remember, does it?
Miss Mousie disappears forever after this episode, so apparently it worked.
Yeah, Miss Mousie is just like in all of the scenes you would normally think Miss Piggy would be in, like showing up in the background singing and stuff. It's very weird. So Bernadette Peters is somebody that I have a huge crush on, and I thought I knew her from more than just The Jerk, but I'm not sure that I do know her from more than just The Jerk.
Yeah, it was also like, I don't know what I know her from, but I feel like I know her and have seen her on a bunch of things, and I don't know what it is.
Who's the lady in Young Frankenstein? The role in the
Madeline
Hay
Kahn?
Lady. Yes. I think I combine the two in my head a lot. Because I was like, Bernadette Peters is in Clue, right? No. Madeline Kahn is in
Nope, that's
Clue.
Madeline Kahn.
Yeah. Well, I love both of them.
Yeah.
So.
You're just mixing your 70s crushes
Yeah.
into one woman.
Yeah. Wow, a dream woman. with the tiniest mouth in the world. So Bernadette Peters is your basic triple threat singer, actor, dancer type. I'm not really sure what was making her famous enough in 1977 to host the Muppet Show.
I mean, she was on Broadway and a bunch of other things. Like
There's
famous.
been a few people on Broadway that it kind of is surprising to me that I guess it's like the guy who played the snowman in Frozen. What's that guy's name? Josh Gad.
Josh Gad.
He was a famous Broadway guy first, right?
Yeah, he was in the Book of Mormon.
So Broadway people have always had crossover appeal, I suppose. I just don't pay that much
And I mean, look at
attention.
it like, okay, you have people like Josh Gad, but then we also have like the standouts like Lin-Manuel Miranda these days. That's like, if they were bringing back the Muppet Show these days, you would have Josh Gad and Lin-Manuel Miranda both hosting episodes on that show.
True. And you'd have them hosting episodes on that show 7 years ago when Lin-Manuel Miranda was just breaking out and like
Right.
That makes sense. Okay, Matt. Thanks.
Yeah, I
for
think
bringing
it's
it
like
back
it's
for
that
me.
thing with the Muppet Show. There's always that mix of like people who were famous to adults in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
either because they were famous when those adults were younger, like we'll talk about with Milton Berle, or with Bernadette Peters, who was famous for TV appearances and Broadway and
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of stuff. That like it's hard to look at in retrospect of like 44 years ago. Looking back, it's like, okay, well, I don't know any of these things, so. Like, I know about The Jerk, and that happened after this. Why is she
Yeah.
famous?
I guess if we watched something from like the year 2000, we'd similarly be a little bit confused why some people were on it, I'd imagine. Anyway, Bernadette Peters got nominated for an Emmy for this episode, probably because of all the schmaltzy, pathetic Robin stuff, is my guess that helped. Tugging some heartstrings. And finally, on November 11th, 1977, Mr. Television himself, comedian and presenter Milton Berle, stops by, and Fozzie Bear is too starstruck to meet him, even though he's his hero. Fozzie spends the whole show hiding and moping around until he overhears Milton asking after him, at which point Fozzie reveals himself and the two go out on stage to perform an ode to vaudeville together. So Milton Berle was the first big television personality ever, which was surprising to me as someone who only knows him from its Mad World and the Muppet movie.
I feel like, our generation knows Milton Berle as just being Milton Berle in things.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was like the television star that existed when television started.
Yeah. So he was the host of the Texaco Star Theater in the 40s, which like drove the selling of TVs, basically. Like everybody went out and bought a TV to watch this show. But another cool thing that I found on Wikipedia is that he first appeared in an experimental television broadcast in 1929. So he was like one of literally the first people ever to be broadcast on television. So I was going to say that he was having a late career popularity resurgence thanks to It's a Mad World. But after looking at it, I don't think he ever really went away. I think he just was kind of always there until he died in the early 2000s or something like that.
Yeah,
like a
the last
billion
thing he
years
did
old.
was a Kenan and Kel TV movie.
Yeah, and he did Sister like right before that too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like with Milton Berle, you look him up and he was literally in every show you've ever watched. Like it's that thing where you think like, oh, I know that guy. What do I know him from? And you're like, oh, was it Roseanne, The Nanny, Matlock, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, The Love Boat, Fame, like Fantasy Island, Chips? Like it could be anything because he was
His
just
nickname was
around
Mr.
all the time.
Television, for God's sake.
Or Uncle Milty.
Or Uncle Milty, yes. So there's also a theory that he is the basis of Bugs Bunny, based mostly on the fact that he looks and acts exactly like Bugs Bunny. And even sounds like Bugs Bunny. He looks just like Bugs Bunny, my friend. You're making a skeptical face.
I always assumed, and I think this is other people have talked about this as well. I'm not like breaking news here.
Yeah.
That Bugs Bunny was based on Rhett Butler in It Happened
Eating the
One
carrot.
Night.
That's part of
Yeah.
it. He's way more Milton Berle, I would say. Milton Berle has Bugs Bunny teeth.
I mean, he's got a cartoon face. Like he looks like he's like made of clay a little bit.
He's got specifically a Bugs Bunny face, man. We could go back and forth on this all day, but we're not going to. In popular culture around this time, Star Wars was finally not number one in the box office after being there since like early July. And instead, George Burns' Oh God took that spot. Maybe based on the heat from his Muppet Show appearance. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if that was like take down Star Wars. It might have just been people wanted to see George Burns.
Could be. I think besides that, 1977 seemed pretty boring, aside from Elvis dying and some of Leonard Skinner dying. Doesn't really look like that much happened, even in like politics, maybe. I think there was a new president that year or something, but oh well.
Well, we've been talking about 1977 for like the past
For a
5
long-
episodes
for a
now.
long time.
And so, yeah, like, did anything exciting happen between Halloween and like Veterans Day in 1977? Maybe not.
Eventually something will. But especially this year when Star Wars came out, I think everybody was probably just talking about Star Wars.
I mean, according to that 70s show, that's very true. That's all that happened in that year was Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. There's also a couple little standout romantic plot lines happening behind the scenes of this era involving these stars. We had Bernadette Peters and Steve Martin apparently had a romantic relationship that started in 1977, so the year of this. I don't know if it was before they were on the Muppet Show or after. Maybe Kermit introduced them. Who knows? But they apparently dated for like 4 years, so through working on The Jerk together. And I also found a little story that apparently at a Hollywood Squares taping, Steve Martin asked out Debbie Spinney, not realizing that she was married to Carol Spinney.
Oh, no. Who is she?
Yeah.
Was she anybody famous, or she was just hanging out backstage?
I think she was just there because Carol Spinney was there, like being Big Bird or Oscar.
And he saw her and just was like, hubba, hubba.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But getting into this Steve Martin episode, Steve Martin, he'll stick around with the Muppets for a little while. He'll go on and be in the Muppet movie with a great little cameo wearing his lederhosen.
The best cameo in the whole movie, I would say.
Yeah, it's up there, I would say. I'm trying to think of a better one, but that one's pretty high up.
You
on the
don't
list.
like Dom DeLuise in it, and he is my second favorite, so I don't even know.
I'm okay with Dom DeLuise, and I think like the spectrum is so wide on my liking of guest stars in that because like Steve Martin is up near the top, and then you have like Mel Brooks way at the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, he apparently, according to Brian Henson, this was the only episode to not have a laugh track added to it afterwards. And instead, you can hear the Muppet performers and the people in the studio laughing instead. But apparently, that was also sort of like rebutted a little bit because they said that Richard Hunt's laugh was so loud that some recorded laughter had to be used afterwards. And I think, like, I'm guessing I can now know Richard Hunt's laugh because there's a couple scenes early on in this where I'm like, dear God, I wish there was a laugh track because this one man's laugh is annoying the hell out of me.
Oh, no, I'll have to go back and listen.
It's specifically during the Mouse Can number that we'll be discussing. That one, I think it's because like the sketch itself, I didn't really get what the joke was or why it was funny. And you just hear this one guy repeatedly laughing louder than everybody else during that one. And I'm like, oh, if the whole episode's going to be like this is going to be really, really rough. This episode starts off with a content warning. Which is always a fun little tension moment of like, oh God, what's going to happen in this episode? Because something bad is coming. Because as we've discussed, there's been episodes that feel like they should have content warnings and then didn't.
There's like another one in this batch that feels like that to me.
Yeah. And so when something has a content warning, you know something's coming. And in this one, it did the thing again where it kind of tricked me into thinking that first one that happens is maybe what earned it. And then something else comes around the corner and is like, nope, maybe it's me.
What's the first one that happens?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Starting off, though, at the beginning of this episode, I have to admit something. I don't get the whole Steve Martin thing.
Oh, no. Matt. I don't know if there's much to get. I think he is just goofy. I think that's the whole thing. But I
don't know if he's for me.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever really enjoyed Steve Martin like outside of the Muppet movie.
Yeah, I think a lot about the fact that he worked at Disneyland as like a magician and like a skipper on the whatever that ride's called. And I think like if I saw this man at Disneyland, that would be the funniest day of my goddamn life. And then I just try to like extrapolate that to seeing him on TV. I'm just like, he is almost like a guy you could run into in real life being goofy, and you'd be like, wow, this is a riot. I don't know. I think we'll talk about his acts throughout this. I think the fact that he is doing things that he did on his comedy album kind of bothers me because I don't feel like other guest stars did that as much. Like, they weren't doing their same old thing. They were working with the Muppets to do songs or little skits that they wouldn't normally otherwise do. But he's kind of just doing his thing, and it feels more like a commercial for him almost.
It's closest, I think, which this is like more enjoyable, but it's closest to the Rich Little episode, where it's like, let's have this guy come on and do what he does, kind of in spite of the Muppet Show. I think this one does work better because of the format of this episode being the like behind the scenes. It's not really a show. He's just kind of doing audition-y kind of bits. But yeah, it does feel weird that they're not like incorporating him more into the show. It does feel like just more like Steve Martin stumbled into the theater and was like, I guess I can do some things off my album. Go buy it, please.
Yeah, it's kind of just a little bit disappointing that for the most part he doesn't work with any Muppets. Really? They're in the audience calling out to him, but he just does musical numbers with them. But I like Steve Martin. I think Steve Martin's really funny. So
I also haven't seen The Jerk.
Oh, you would not like it. Is my guess.
That's kind of, I think, why I've avoided watching it, is because I don't think I would enjoy it.
It's, I think, as close to
yeah.
like anti-humor, like the modern concept of anti-humor, as you could find in the 70s is my guess. Like, it's just stupid is the whole point of it. It's just like, he is stupid and everything happening is really stupid. It's almost like an Adam Sandler. It's like Waterboy. It's kind of similar to Waterboy, but from the 70s.
Right.
I really enjoy that movie, but I think you should watch it just so I want to know how much you hate it.
I don't know that I love the like Steve Martin thing. Like what he's bringing to the table isn't my favorite.
You don't like he's a wild and crazy guy?
No, I don't like. Excuse me. Especially with like, apparently it was like a newer catchphrase at this point.
Yeah, he just made it up.
Yeah, so he's like saying it's like it's just get her done. That's all it is.
Well, isn't that what Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen say on Full House?
No.
How wooed. They say
so much is wrong with what you just said that it's not Michelle Tanner. It's Stephanie Tanner says how rude.
Is that not the baby?
No, Stephanie's the middle girl.
I think she says how rude at least once. I've seen a GIF.
Yes. I'm not saying Michelle has never said how rude. I'm saying it is Stephanie's catchphrase. It's like, did other people say, excuse me? Sure, but Steve Martin is the one who originated it. Stephanie, Tanner, Steve Martin, same person. Same level of comedy influence.
Who does cut it out?
That's Joey. Have Mercy is Jesse.
What does the main guy do?
He cleans stuff.
He doesn't really get a
catchphrase.
Okay.
He hugs people a lot and he cleans things.
Okay.
That's kind of his thing. We get a comment from Statler and Waldorf in the opening here where they say, I like the old opening better.
I made a note of this. I agree completely.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to, like, again, I think we've talked about this in past episodes, but I do like the grand staging of the new opening, but I do miss the longer song and Fozzie's joke.
It made me, while I was watching this episode, I was thinking about making a super edit of what I would think would be the perfect version of the theme song. Or maybe I'll do it.
This is like your second or third Sam's edit.
Well, yeah, I have to edit the entire show into sequential order so that it makes sense canonically. And I have to make a super edit of the best version of the intro.
That sounds like a good use of your time.
Yeah.
This episode introduces us to the first new audience shot that we've seen, in the order we're watching things at least. It's where it's not the crowd in a little black box theater anymore. It is matching what the stage and balcony looks like. It looks like the Muppet Theater you know and love. And obviously that's necessary because of the plot, because the audience leaves, and also Kermit and the other Muppets are going to be sitting amongst the seats.
Is this the set they use for the audience from now on?
Oh, that's a great question, Sam, that I don't know the answer to.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah. But a couple things that I sort of learned because of the format of this episode is that apparently tickets are free for the Muppet Show.
They've mentioned tickets being free before.
Yeah. But also, this clearly is not a TV show.
Because there's no cameras, or?
Well, because they're able to just cancel it and nothing goes wrong.
That's true.
Like, it's clearly just a stage show for the audience that's in the theater.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Also, the Muppet Newsman, this can be confirmed, is a performer at the show. Because he is.
Yeah, because he's hanging out.
Yeah, he's like making out with somebody at one point.
Was he? I missed
He's
that.
like he's like got his arm around a lady who's like really nuzzling up into him.
Yeah, speaking of the background characters, Mildred and Hilda are both in this episode. They don't speak or have any lines, but
Oh,
we
I
haven't
missed
seen
that.
them, and they don't really do much after this. But they were there. They're still hanging out. It's kind of sadder that they're still hanging out and like not part of the plot anymore.
I don't know. I'm glad that they still have jobs, I suppose. Whatever Hilda's. No, Hilda was the costume maker, right?
Yeah, Mildred, we don't know what she was really doing. She was just popping up occasionally.
Last we saw her, she was a reporter.
That's true. She was a reporter for Rich Little's episode.
Yeah. But I'm glad that Hilda still has a job. I don't want her to be fired. She's old.
I do really enjoy seeing the like behind the scenes aspect of this because I think that's like what the character building pieces are throughout most episodes is the backstage plot. And curiously enough, in this we don't see the backstage set at all that we normally see. But we see a lot of backstage moments essentially with the Muppets discussing the show and discussing like hiring and new acts and all this stuff that I think lets the characters interact in a more natural way than we normally would see in an episode and something like somewhat closer to what we see in like the ABC sitcom.
Yeah, definitely.
But the first act that is auditioning is the Lautrec sisters, which is a group of dancing rats that do the can-can.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was like one of those where overall I enjoyed this episode, but this sketch kind of was like, uh-oh, is this going to be like a sex and violence, a bunch of weird random things that didn't fit into other episodes that they just like tossed together? Thankfully not.
That surprises. I thought you were going to like this one because this one to me feels like just for the puppetry of it kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It does. I think it's like I enjoy something like the Clodhoppers better as far as like an impressive puppetry thing. I think to me this doesn't seem as impressive.
Huh. Well, you just don't have good taste, I guess.
So you enjoyed the can rats.
I believed them as an act that would have to prove themselves, like that they would show up and be like, "This is our little thing that we do."
I do enjoy that aspect of it. That like if you're gonna throw random acts at the Muppet Show, this does fit right into that.
Yeah.
And something that doesn't like it kind of fits into that, but the fact that it keeps happening feels like it doesn't necessarily fit into that. We have Mary Louise and a friend, which is just a frog.
Is she the same one who was married to a big blue frog in the Big Blue Frog song of last year?
She keeps popping up to sing those like little fun songs. She was the crocodile song
she's
where the
often
crocodile
hanging
ate a
out
couple
in
frogs.
a swamp with swamp creatures.
Yeah. I mean, clearly here she's auditioning with her frog friend, so
Yeah.
she must actually be friends with frogs.
Interesting.
Which you'd think like maybe would put her in a better position to get on the show more regularly,
Yeah.
but apparently no one enjoys her because she keeps getting the cane coming in from off stage to pull her out very violently.
Yeah.
When this was first starting, I was wondering, is this what the content warning is for? Is like this very violent act towards this little girl puppet?
This girl's neck being broken multiple times throughout the episode.
Yeah, because they pop up like three or four times, kind of doing the same thing where she's singing a song and there's a pun where the frog says ribbit,
Yeah.
and it either is like tie a yellow ribbit around the old oak tree,
Yeah.
etc. And I don't know, it worked for me. I didn't mind the bit; it was pretty funny. We then have Steve Martin, his first little act that he's putting on with some balloon animals, where he's just bad at making balloon animals. And I think, it just kind of, I was waiting for the, payoff, the punchline.
A big balloon comes and carries them away.
That's true. I forgot about
That's
the
a
big
great
balloon
payoff.
carrying him away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I do love that, this big balloon comes in from off stage, attacks him, and then you see a cut, and you see him clearly with, a string attached to his back or to a dummy's back, whatever, and just gets pulled up out of the set.
This is one of the things that is a regular part of his stage act at the time, I'm pretty sure. I don't know how it ends in that one. I don't think
I'm guessing not the same way. That's a very Muppety way to end a sketch.
Yeah.
For me, it just kept going a little bit longer than I was hoping it would.
You just hate Steve Martin. That's okay.
I kind of do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Any of the standout moments in this episode for me don't involve Steve Martin.
No, I would say that that's true. And this was when he came on and did this, I was like, oh, he's just gonna do his shtick, which, to be fair, was brand new. As people probably hadn't even seen this yet. So
yeah, if his album had just come out that year, obviously again, it's hard to put yourself in the place of somebody watching this in 1977 and understanding that like he was the hot new comic at the time.
Yeah.
So I get that this was funnier at the time.
Uh-huh.
We then have Baskerville coming out trying to steal Fozzie's place on the show.
So yeah, there's kind of a backstage plot in this that Fozzie is terrified that his job will be taken away from him by somebody funnier. And this is like the payoff of that.
Yes, because this is like his fear is being realized that like, oh, somebody actually is coming for his job.
Yeah.
And Kermit tells him to calm down. Like, no one's coming for your job. It's fine. We're just auditioning new acts. No one's going to replace you. And the very next act is Lenny the Lizard auditioning as the MC to take Kermit's place.
I loved this a lot.
Yeah, this is what I had referenced in a past video where I was like, at some point, Lenny the Lizard comes in and like tries to take Kermit's job, and this is what I was remembering.
So there's not a whole episode where he does this?
Maybe not. I know pirates take over the show. I don't remember if like Lenny gets to take over the show. It's been on too long since I've looked into any of that.
Yeah.
But yes, I do enjoy getting to see Lenny's little Kermit impression.
He's again being Kermit's Wario. But now we've learned that Baskerville is Fozzie's Wario.
Does every Muppet have a Wario equivalent?
I think
we definitely get Piggies in Annie Sue.
Yeah. And Miss Mousy kind of is trying to be positioned as a Wario to her in the next episode.
Is Gonzo too friendly to get a Wario?
I feel like Gonzo's Wario would be also nice. Or maybe like Sam Eagle is Gonzo's Wario somehow.
They got similar nose
He's
things
Gonzo's,
going on.
He's Gonzo's Bowser, I think, actually.
What if Gonzo is somebody else's Wario?
That's what I'm thinking. He might be. I think I'd have to think on it more. But he seems more like someone's dark reflection. But yeah, this is cute. I love Baskerville. He's one of my favorite looking Muppets. A little dog with glasses on.
Yeah, he's got basically Scooter's glasses shrunken down onto like a shrunken down Rolf body. So he's just like a bunch of good Muppets shoved together.
Sometimes I feel like you can really notice a difference between the Don Celine designed Muppets and the not Don Celine designed Muppets. The ones that he designed are like sewed at least. Have much more of like a graphical, simple style, I think, that is more attractive. I'd have to look into who did what exactly, but I feel like maybe was Scooter a Don Celine? Do you know?
Let me see.
Is there any way to even know that?
Some of them say on Muppet Wiki who was the designer. Like Baskerville says Don Celine was the builder, which also it makes sense because of when Baskerville was originally built.
Yeah, Scooter was not.
Yeah, by the time you get to the Muppet Show, there's a lot more people brought in, like Bonnie Erickson and Michael Frith and all these people.
Was Don Celine about to die also?
He dies in 1978, so he's close to the time of his death.
Right.
But yeah, so Scooter was designed by Michael Frith, who, as we know, is the sexy Miss Piggy man.
Yeah, right.
And then built by Dave Goelz and Rolly Cruson. Which, yes, Dave Goelz started off as a puppet builder for Jim Henson before becoming Gonzo.
Some Muppets are a little ugly. Like Sexy Lady Muppet is one that I look at and think, this doesn't necessarily look like a Muppet to me. This looks like it could be on any puppet show.
Yeah, whereas you have people like King Rufus and Featherstone that are like very clearly early Muppet, like Don Celine designs that I think just work in a certain way that we don't always get characters. Like, I think now when we get a character that strong that appears, you're like, oh, okay, good puppet. Whereas like back when we were watching all the 60s and 70s, like early 70s stuff, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, every puppet has a very strong sort of profile to them.
Yeah, these are all good. These are all like very effectively designed puppets.
Man, I miss Tamanella.
Yeah, it is surprising that they never tried to bring her back when I feel like there's a lot of other things that they tried a bunch of times and then eventually found a place for. Or even like Robin, like I guess you don't really need a bad guy in the Muppet Show, so maybe it was harder to fit her in.
But she works so well in like a fairy tale setting that it feels like you could just like drop her in as a baddie in one of those things. And you like, I would also understand, like, maybe if Jerry Jewell wasn't working with the Muppets forever, but he does. He works with the Muppets forever.
Until he drops dead.
Yeah. So it's like, he's there. Tamanella's not, like, I don't know. It's probably also this thing of There's a big thing in Muppets Twitter recently about the death of Bean Bunny.
Oh, yes. Poor Bean.
Because Kirk Thatcher is being blamed for the death of Bean Bunny because he mentioned that Bean Bunny's puppet is essentially dead.
Yeah, fell apart.
If you pick up, the Bean Bunny puppet, the most recent version of it, basically if you pick it up, your hand goes through his head because there's holes just rotted through it. And so it's part of the reason Bean Bunny has not been around in a while is like he's a weird puppet that no one has wanted to spend the money to rebuild.
Yeah.
And so, maybe over the years, Tamanella was kind of like falling to pieces a little bit, and they were just like, we don't really have a good reason to rebuild her.
Like 20-something-year-old puppet at this point.
Yeah, so I think that could be part of it. But there is, I know, a Tamanella on display at the Museum of the Moving Image. So, again, a good reason to go there.
Maybe Jerry had Tamanella sitting in his apartment, and they just stared at each other, and he's like, someday, Tamanella, they're going to ask for you back.
Just like he's just sitting there like talking to himself in like a Smeagol kind of way where it's like he's trying to make decisions and Tamanella's talking to him from the corner.
Yeah. That's the biopic we need.
I was gonna say, now we're writing the Jerry Jewell biopic.
Yeah.
We get some more Kuzbanians popping up.
Yeah. The first Kuzbanians I've ever liked, I think.
Oh
no, I liked the Dom DeLuise Kuzbanians. I take it back.
Yeah. I like all the Kuzbanians, and these might actually be the lowest on the list for me out of the 3 Kuzbanians we've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. This was one I think where just like went on a little long for me.
That is true. The 4 Fazoobs is what they're called, and they are a band of aliens who have different bodies that allow them to be different kind of musical instruments, basically. Like one has a drum for a head and one's you blow into its tail and it's got a trumpet for a nose. I think I like this one because Rachel was watching. She doesn't usually watch these with me, but she was watching this one. And when it was over, she went, "Good song." I was like, okay, maybe this one's good. I don't know.
I did enjoy the detail of that the one with the trumpet nose has to be played. That it's like its tail requires you to blow in. Oh, absolutely weird. But I did enjoy that little detail that like he has a horn nose that you would think he could just make the noise himself, but no, it requires somebody to blow into his tail. Yeah,
for some reason all I could think of was like that. Feels like it would stink. Like something about that whole situation seems like it would emit a kind of horrible odor.
Then we get our UK spot, which I think at least earned half of the content warning, if not the whole content warning. We get Gonzo going up to Kermit and saying he's got a new act where he's going to dance with some cheese. And then he proceeds to dance with some cheese and do a pretty stereotypical Mexican accent while also shouting random Mexican food words.
He does a little flamenco act with this cheese.
Yeah, and it's like we had the Piggy sketch before where she was singing a song in Spanish, but at least she was like singing Spanish. It's just Gonzo doing an accent and yelling burrito, taco, enchilada. Like
I guess to me that read as a cheese joke. So,
to me it read as I don't know Spanish, so I'm just going to yell out Mexican food.
Yeah, I think that's probably more what you're thinking. I was also so distracted by the low effort put into this dancing cheese that I wasn't paying attention to Gonzo as much.
Yeah, this was sort of a weird, lazy UK spot, it seemed like, especially after we saw Gonzo do the whole thing with the chicken that, for some reason, even though that's lazier, sort of worked. Like, you had a real live chicken.
It was like a whole episode set up to an incredibly, like, stupid act, which was fun.
Yeah, and I think this is just
the same
Gonzo.
Joke, basically, but it looks like the cheese is like a marionette. It's just like a styrofoam block of cheese on a string. And it looks like somehow it doesn't work. Like they messed up something. And even Gonzo's looking at it like, this shit's not working at all. Gonzo knows his act is bad. I was expecting, because he mentions how good a dancer the cheese is in the he's like pitching it to Kermit and Kermit's like, no way. Then he still gets on stage and does it. I think it would have been funny if it had been a person with really sexy legs and a cheese costume. Like their whole body was covered up except the cheese. And they had like fishnets and they were doing like rocket kicks, you know?
Yeah, I think that could work.
That's what I was picturing.
Anything, I think, could have been better than what it was, which was just a bouncy little cheese puppet that didn't really do much.
And offensive to boot.
Yeah. And speaking of offensive songs, we get Steve Martin back to do another
Yes.
little bit, which I think this is, again, one of that moment where I was like, oh, clearly content warning was because of Gonzo. That makes sense to me. And then Steve Martin gets up there and doubles down on that content warning because he sings a song called Ramblin' Guy, which was off of his new comedy album as well. And as a part of that song, for some unknown reason, he starts off the song by doing this like weird rambling thing. He's playing the banjo and he goes back and forth. He's like, all right, now the ladies and now the men, now in Chinese. And as you probably assume, that doesn't go incredibly well. As far as it doesn't seem like Steve Martin actually knows Chinese.
No,
is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think he's pretending.
And yes, and it's very weird because both on the album and on the Muppet Show, it's very brief. He like says now in Chinese and does like 3 sort of like impressionary like Chinese sounding words. I don't even like know the way to describe that. Like, you know, the offensive Chinese thing people would do in comedy. And it's like so brief and he moves on from it. But that's also how it is on his album. So it feels like a really weird tossed in thing that it's like so easily doesn't need to be a part of this song.
I think it's just the kind of thing people didn't think about in the 70s. So it wasn't even meant to be anything one way or the other, except that it is bad.
Right. It was just funny to say, hey, this is what Chinese sounds like.
Yeah. Also, I don't get Rambling Guy. I hate Rambling Guy. Gonna have to admit. I think when Steve Martin's doing the banjo, he doesn't need to do the banjo. The whole banjo thing is not something that I'm very into with him.
I think his banjo is like his impressions. Like Rich Little's impressions are Steve Martin's banjo.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I brought my banjo. Do you want me to play my banjo?
Fucking course you brought your banjo. You're Steve Martin. You always have your banjo. You probably have like a little fold-up banjo in your back pocket at all times. But he does eventually, like, I don't know, this is like 10 years ago now, probably, him and Kermit do a dueling banjos bit on funnyordie.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Kermit
can't
hadn't
get him away from his banjo.
Kermit hadn't, I don't think, been established as a banjo man at this point, though.
No, yeah, I guess that doesn't happen until the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe he was inspired by seeing Steve Martin play it
what
here on The Muppet Show.
He stole his bit, basically.
Yeah. This was one, too, with the Rambling Guy where I was like, I went and listened to the actual comedy album version to see if it was different or better.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is not working for me. And it's not different.
No.
Like, it's exactly the same bit on his comedy album, and people are cracking the fuck up. They love this guy.
Well, people cracked the fuck up at Glowworm and Old Black Magic a million years ago, too. So
Yeah,
comedy just doesn't
that's
age
true.
well.
But speaking of aging well, we get, I think, my highlight of the episode.
Yeah.
Statler and Waldorf come in and do an old vaudeville dance number where they're dancing to the Varsity Drag.
That was very good.
And it's just like they're all dressed up. They're going all out. They're tap dancing, essentially.
Yeah.
Fozzie gets to heckle them from the balcony. Yeah, this was definitely a highlight of the episode, I think. An episode, again, that I enjoyed because mostly the concept of it, of the behind the scenes, seeing a different kind of episode. But the Steve Martin of it all didn't really stick with me.
Yeah, I love when they like break format or like mess with the backstage front stage thing. I do agree his parts, Steve Martin's parts, were a little flat, so that made it a slightly less interesting episode. But anytime it was just the Muppets shenanigans, I agree. These two look like freaks, though. Their bodies are put together so strangely.
Yeah, they clearly haven't thought about Statler and Waldorf's legs much before this. And so they're very hunched and like Spider-Men, like not like Spider-Man, but like they look like men who are half spider, crawling around.
They have a Slender Man quality to them.
Yeah, and you can see a couple times the puppeteers' like hands cross in front of their bodies, and so you see like a black void enter in front of them.
Yeah, it's uncanny, and it's kind of reminds me of like Mr. Burns walking around, and like when his like limbs will break, and there's that like like chip crunching noise that happens. I just imagine that like that's the sound coming out of both of them as they're doing.
I could definitely see some crunching noises, like some gears grinding as they're dancing on the stage.
So they looked scary, but it was a very cute little bit.
Yeah.
And Sam loves it.
Yeah. Sam loves old things.
Sam with kind of his he's pretty prominent, not super prominent, but more prominent than he has been lately in these few episodes. And he gets to kind of do his shtick a little bit more than just introducing Wayne and Wanda, which was nice too.
Yeah, they give him some new versions of his uptight, artsy guy thing.
Yeah.
Let me get my old friend. I couldn't even get friend out of my mouth. Nemesis, Marvin Suggs.
Oh, this actually was my highlight of the episode. I loved this.
To be fair, I really enjoyed it. It just didn't need Marvin Suggs there.
Oh, I think he's so funny, though. He still
I
reminds
hate
me
him.
so much of Music Man from Sack Lunch Bunch. I just think he's so funny.
Yeah, I like Music Man. I like this sketch. I don't love Marvin Suggs.
He's got a self-aware horribleness that New Zealand doesn't have. So I think that makes me like him a little bit better.
Interesting.
Like, he's so bad that obviously they know that he is terrifying in a way.
He's a very chaotic energy to bring to an episode where it's just like, oh God,
he
here
is
comes.
evil, I think.
He might be my Wario.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. He's not quite Gonzo's Wario, but gosh, I feel like Gonzo's probably jealous of him, actually. Like,
ooh, I could see that. He could be like, oh, they let Marvin Suggs be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And do whatever he wants. He's performing a song with fruit.
Yeah.
And I can't eat a tire? Come on.
All I can get is one singing clam.
But yeah, we the fruit and vegetables are singing Yes, We Have No Bananas, which we've seen before.
A million years ago. It was like maybe the first piece of Muppet media that exists or something like that.
Yeah, it's from very early 60s from the Today Show appearances where we get to see our old friend Chicken Liver, who, do I hate Chicken Liver more than I hate Marvin Suggs?
I think you do. He's completely nude.
Well, he's not nude in that sketch, but he is nude later on in versions we see.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that Alfred Hitchcock Sam and Friends thing we watched,
Yeah.
I might not hate Chicken Liver quite as much, but Chicken Liver is just gross.
Of any Muppet that will have, I know we talked about Sam having a penis, but of any Muppet that would actually have a penis, it would be Chicken Liver.
But yeah, you said this was your highlight of the episode.
Yeah, it was chaotic and funny, and there was great puns in it, and it just kind of like, it was like a complete sketch that had like a idea executed well. The potatoes clearly broke at some point during their mouths stopped moving about partway through. So as somebody who's worked with this kind of puppet where you're like pulling a little trigger, those break all the damn time. So I understand why they broke. I thought that was fun too. But yeah, I just it was good to watch.
It's also one of those, like, if we're talking about the auditions that are happening in the canon of this episode, this is sort of the only one that I could see coming back if they were like, yes, you got a spot, because we have Mary Louise, which clearly isn't going well because, I mean, Piggy yanks her off the stage and says there's only room for one girl singer.
I didn't think that was a
here.
good payoff for that bit. I wouldn't think Piggy would be scared of that. It was funny enough that that Mary Louise was so bad. We didn't need Piggy being the one threatening her.
It also felt a little on the nose with, the way the Muppets work, where they can only have one woman on staff at a time, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to note that during these episodes and during season 2, they were basically auditioning to see who was going to be the next woman to join the Muppets. And so they have 3 women in this like early batch of season 2 episodes who come in to sort of try out. The ones that we get to see in this batch are Louise Gold, who we've talked about previously. She's the one who gets to stick around. She gets hired to be like a full-time performer. But the other one we get to see in this batch, and we'll talk about her in the Milton Berle episode, is Abby Hadfield. And she was the second one brought in before Louise Gold. And clearly something didn't work out there because she didn't get to stick around.
Was she Miss Mousy in that episode?
No, she was Zelda Rose.
Who
sings with the owl.
Right.
There's another woman that we'll talk about when we get to her episodes. She was in the first, I think, episode or 2 that they produced for season 2. And she was the first one who came in to audition. So they're in this process of like trying out to see who is going to be the new like woman on staff now that Aaron Oscar has left.
Couldn't just splurge for a couple or maybe all 3. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. And then we get the Flying Zucchini Brothers come out to audition the Human Cannonball act. And we get another explosion in the side of the Muppet Theater. Kind of around the exact same spot it exploded before.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they just rigged that one spot of the wall to
like
blow
pull
up.
a cord and the wall raises or something like that. That's probably what it
Yeah.
is. That part always, whenever the wall explodes like that, it gives me really nice. Okay, so this is something I've been thinking about a lot. This would be my dream if I was an Imagineer. This would be the dream project that I'd be pitching all the time. So they have like Country Bear Jamboree, you know? Why don't they have the freaking Muppet Show where you just go watch the damn Muppet Show, be normal, and you have like animatronics up there doing wacky stuff. But so when the theater explodes, it always gives me really nice Muppet 3D feelings, you know, because at the end the whole theater explodes. And I just think about how much I love sitting in that theater. Like that's such a nice experience to be in like a recreation of this theater. And someday that ride's going to go away and you're never going to get to do that again. But it would be so fun to go see an animatronic version of it.
Yeah, the Fozzie Bear Jamboree.
Yeah. Oh, please. That's so cute.
And yeah, as you mentioned earlier, this ends with a jug band number with the new Lubbock Lou jug band, who I just don't like them as much. I miss the Jubilee.
I like them more. They're higher quality puppets. I could see why they would be like, nah, these are shoddy. We can't use the Jubilee.
They have
jug
less
band anymore."
personality to me.
That's true. They seem like creeps. They kind of have like a Manson family vibe to them a little bit, I think.
Especially that main guy with the mustache and the ponytail.
Yeah. Well, I think the lady, she seems like somebody who would break into a house in the Hollywood Hills and stab someone to death.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's
I
a
mean,
big
by that-
leap to make about a Muppet, but
by that metric, I guess they're kind of, I don't like them either. They like many Muppets seem like they would kill you. So, yeah, but then we get a big banjo thing. So, you know how much we love banjo things.
yeah.
I was also really disappointed that this one didn't end with a special end credits, like the one where the whole band quits. Because
I mean, he's sort of like playing banjo over it.
just for a little while, then that fades out, and then all the normal guys are in the orchestra pit in their costumes who previously have been sitting behind Kermit, not in their costumes, not playing in the orchestra.
Yeah. Next up on November 4th, 1977, we had the Bernadette Peters episode of The Muppet Show. We'll see Bernadette Peters again because she'll be a guest on The Tonight Show episode that Kermit guest hosts in 1979. I also wanted to note that we did watch the uncut full version of this episode that aired originally. This will come up more as we go through more episodes of The Muppet Show, that there will be episodes that Disney Plus has some things that are missing because of music rights and other reasons. And some of those we'll be able to watch and find. Other ones we will not. We will do our best to let you know where you can find them. But for instance, the Brooke Shields episode, I think, is just on a DVD that I own. So, yeah, we will definitely let you know if you can watch them somewhere. And, yeah, as you mentioned, Sam, this is a big Robin episode. This is the first time Robin is identified as Kermit's nephew.
Yeah. The first time in this order, at least. Is it maybe the first time ever?
I believe it is also the first time ever. And what's interesting is that the stuff that's like cut out of this kind of would like remove Robin's sort of redemption.
Yeah.
Like he would get the Bernadette Peters song sung to him, but we would not learn afterwards that he feels better now. We would not get the scene at all where he is telling Kermit, like, I feel so great. Let me sing a song.
Well, I watched the Disney Plus version first, and then I watched the other parts. It didn't really register to me as like too weird, that because he didn't really have like in the Disney Plus version. It's not like he has an idea for what he wants to do. He just wants everyone not to ignore him, and he gets to kiss Bernadette Peters. So that seems like a pretty good redemption to me. He gets to kiss her right on her tiny little mouth.
There's actually, I was looking up Bernadette Peters in a Broadway.com video. She answered a question from a user by admitting that the hardest thing about working with the Muppets was refraining from kissing them so as not to leave lipstick on them.
That would be hard. You'd want to kiss them all on the head.
She said, you try being near a Muppet and not kiss it.
I know how she feels. Me and her, I got to team up to go on a caper to kiss Rolf.
This actually, I think, came up recently. I think it was maybe Yvette Nicole Brown in one of the like Muppets Haunted Mansion red carpety type things. She kissed Pepe and like got lipstick on him.
Oh no!
And Pepe was like, "You're gonna be in trouble." Like,
that's funny.
Yeah, and also Bernadette Peters. To those maybe who don't have as like are not as familiar with her, she has been in the news somewhat recently because she was nominated for an Emmy this past year for a guest role she did on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. And she also was in the news because she wore a dress to the Tonys this year that she wore back in 1983 for the first time. And everyone was like, holy cow, look at her. Still looking great. And the one last interesting note before we get into talking about this episode, Fozzie isn't here, apparently. We see him, he is in the background and like kind of singing along during the song that they sing for Robin. But that's the only time we see Fozzie in this episode is like as a background character.
Well, do you see Gonzo?
I mean, he's in the opening at least.
He plays the horn, I suppose. But so is Fozzie.
Yeah, you're right.
I have days where I don't see you. You're still
That's
my friend.
true.
We still work together.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. All right, if you put it in that light, now I'm all right with it. Who cares if Fozzie's there? This episode opens up with a cute little suit on Kermit, which I liked. I was like, oh, hey, he's being all formal. Is that for Bernadette Peters? And no, it turns out he's got an opening number that's himself. And Miss Mousie's singing together because he needs to remind people that he's not just a pretty face.
I hate Miss Mousie. I think they should have put her in new clothes. Like she's the puppet from Sex and Violence, which Kermit sings Froggy, Wood, and Corton, and she's dressed like that because it's an old timey thing. But now she's got like that weird bonnet on. She just looks weird.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, and obviously Miss Mousie like pretty much goes away after this episode, so we won't have to worry about that anymore. But I also noticed in this one, for some reason, the puppeteering seemed bad. Which is like, it was Jerry Nelson, so that shouldn't be the case. He's a very good puppeteer. But like Miss Mousie's mouth is like out of sync with the words at times, and it's like seems like she's forgetting to jump in on lines that she's supposed to sing. And so it just seemed like like I don't know what led to Miss Mousie being retired, but maybe she wasn't like an easy puppet to perform. Like maybe she was built weirdly.
Maybe his heart wasn't in it.
Yeah, he knew. He's like, yeah, this isn't going to stick around.
I don't even know why they would try to make Miss Mousie happen. It seems like a weird one to pick, but...
Little Robin almost gets trampled to death by Sweetums and Thog and Timmy Monster.
Too bad. They should have taken one step back.
This is the episode where Thog kills Robin and Sam is conflicted in his feelings.
I don't know. Yeah. He's a hero to some, but... I don't know if I can see him that way.
It's interesting to note as far as the Muppets auditioning the women that we talked about. Louise Gold is inside of the Sweetums suit in this episode.
Oh, interesting. Sweetums had a different vibe to him.
They're trying her out to see, like, I guess when you have like three big full body characters in one scene, you need to spread out who's going to play them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Louise Gold is apparently inside of Sweetums. And again, I don't know how Muppet Wiki gets some of this information because like she's uncredited. The women they're auditioning are uncredited in these episodes, but clearly someone got this information somewhere.
Maybe she did it.
Maybe. Yeah, because it's interesting that the notes on this one is that it says Jim Henson played Thog and Dave Goelz played Timmy Monster in this one.
Weird. Why isn't Jerry Nelson being Thog?
Who knows? It's very odd. But yes, we get, this is another one, it leads into a sketch where we get those big three monsters dancing with Bernadette Peters, and it just really drives home how freaking big Thog is.
Yeah, he's always been large.
Every time I see him now, I'm like, Thog is so big, and also, I miss Thig.
Yeah, Timmy Monster has a Thig-like quality to him.
I put in my notes, I feel like Timmy is a cheap replacement for Thig.
He does look a little cheap. Timmy Monster's kind of a crummy puppet, I think.
He's kind of like a 80s, 90s Chuck E. Cheese costume.
Yes, he looks like Munch from the Chuck E. Cheese Imagination Land Band. You're exactly right.
He's got that vibe, and he's got a little bit of like a H.R. Puffin stuff feel to him. Like he just doesn't quite feel like he fits in with the other Muppets.
Yeah, especially like Sweetums has that it factor, you know? Sweetums looks great. And the other two are a little bit more cartoony, so this was kind of a weird one in terms of how it looks stylistically. But I couldn't. I liked it. I don't know why. Probably because Bernadette Peter dancing around in it.
I also liked it because you have like it's interesting to have the dynamic is that Sweetums and Thog are okay dancers and can sort of like follow Bernadette Peters' lead. Like she'll do a dance move, and the two of them will do a dance move, and then Timmy fucks it up.
Yeah,
Timmy's a bad dancer. He can't do it.
He's trying his best. He's new here.
And then, the running gag through this one of Robin being upset and no one noticing him leads to some fun moments. One where he's packing up, ready to leave, and he falls into his suitcase and gets stuck because he's tiny. That's the joke.
He's just a little guy.
It's like Paul Williams is back. Like, Paul Williams and Robin could have a great episode together of just us little guys need to stick together.
But Paul Williams has a nasty little attitude, and Robin does not.
He could bring that out in Robin.
That's true.
Robin needs Paul Williams.
That would be great to have Paul Williams come back and be like, it's not so bad to be small. It's not too late. He's still alive. Hurry.
Yeah. We get some more chickens playing the piano for some reason.
Yeah.
They play chopsticks, and this one doesn't even go anywhere.
No. It doesn't, this one was confusing.
It's like Animals drum solos, where it's just like, and this happens now to transition to the next thing.
This is better than Animals drum solos because at least it's kind of funny that they're pecking the keys. At least there's an idea here.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of chaos to the chickens as well. Every time they show up, they're just like, what if we start playing this piano? And then it just magically works out. Look how great we are at piano. This is wild.
Yeah.
Then we get, I think what you were referencing earlier with the surprise this didn't get a content warning. We get a UK spot where Uncle Deadly is playing a sheik, and then there's a character called the Sheik's wife singing a song called Sheik of Arabi. And it's cloaked in Middle Eastern stereotypes.
Yeah.
And also like a very weirdly sexy dancing
this lady's rubbing
Muppet
her
here.
boobs all over Uncle Deadly.
Yeah, she's got actual cleavage happening, and she's shaking her boobs in front of the camera and in front of Uncle Deadly.
That's what British people can handle, that kind of stuff, though.
But yeah, I think like this was one where I'm like, this doesn't get a content warning. Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess like because they're not like doing an accent or like saying anything outright offensive. Like I guess like I don't know. I'm not the one deciding the content warnings at Disney Plus. I also want to mention, I know this is like a recency bias thing, but I vastly prefer Uncle Deadly's more recent voice and characterizations to old Uncle Deadly, who's kind of boring.
He sounded weird in this one. He didn't really have his accent going. I think in the first one where he premieres, he's much closer to what he will become eventually. But in this, he's very flat in a way that like this is a song that if he had hammed it up a little bit, it would have been more interesting. But he's pretty straightforward, and there's not really like maybe what's his name was sick this week or something. Maybe his arm.
Jerry Nelson.
Maybe his arm hurt. This next part I would say was my standout of the episode.
Yeah, it's Sam sort of doing a Wayne and Wanda-esque introduction again to say like here's some something to class up this show. And he introduces the fable of the ant and the grasshopper, and it goes awry.
Yes, as often happens on the Muppet Show. But yeah, so the ant and the grasshopper especially, he's like a little stick puppet, and he's so funny looking. He's got that big shitty look on his face. But then at the end, the ant and the grasshopper, the ant works hard all summer to have food for the winter, and the grasshopper doesn't. But in this one, the grasshopper just drives south to Florida for the winter, and the ant gets stepped on, and a human foot comes out and steps on the little ant puppet, and Sam's like, what the fuck? Somebody changed it.
Yeah, like this wasn't in the script.
Yeah. I think the concept of the Muppets particularly singling out and picking on Sam is like maybe something that you're supposed to have gleaned from the Wayne and Wanda skits where stuff was going wrong, but that always seemed like God hates Sam. This is where like the Muppets hate Sam, and I thought that was very funny.
I also I think this is from reading in Muppets and Men, one of the puppet builders in that book references a time where like sometimes you got to be on your toes and you got to build something just on like a moment's notice. And I think they reference like a cricket driving a car.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if this is what they were referring to, like the grasshopper who needs a car to drive to Florida.
Probably. I couldn't imagine it would be anything else.
Yeah. Maybe it comes up again.
Yeah.
But I do, yeah. I like the little puppet theater that he's got behind him.
Yeah.
I like that there is a human foot. It's like, whose foot is that? Who knows?
This read to me as very old school Muppet. Like this is something they would have done on like one of the PBS specials or something like that.
Then we get the sweet little song that everyone sings to Robin to make him feel better. It didn't do anything for me. I know it was supposed to be like a big emotional moment, but the song and everything and didn't feel as earned as some of these moments have felt in past episodes, where I was like, I do care about this. I'm glad you feel better.
Gonzo's just better at being sad than Robin is. And it's just like the same thing that I have with Thog, where it just seems insincere when Robin is being sad.
It also is weird that like everyone in this episode is like responsible for making Robin feel the way he does. Like they've been ignoring him. Kermit's been like ignoring him.
Mm-hmm.
Like your uncle's there and lets monsters almost trample on you. Clearly, he's a problem.
Yeah.
Like Kermit's the first one to come in and like join the song, and I'm like, that feels weird to me that Kermit was like, "Oh no, I love you, buddy." And it's like, well, but you didn't 5 minutes ago. You were just completely ignoring him.
Yeah, I think that they could have done away with some of the Miss Mousy subplot to give a little bit more time to the Robin thing to make it read better.
But then we get the introduction, to us at least, of Beaker in the
God
Muppet
bless
Labs.
him. Yes.
And it's just immediately the dynamic is there.
Uh-huh.
Beaker is there to be experimented upon by Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
Yep. He already knows
It's
his
perfect.
life is shit. He doesn't want to do any of the stuff that Bunsen's making him do. But he doesn't know that Bunsen paid his dues already. Bunsen's been tortured.
Yeah, Bunsen has hired this lab assistant now to just like take the brunt of everything. Where in this one, Bunsen invented a new element, Bunsonium, but has no idea what it is useful for. Like they tried to use it on things, hasn't worked, and now his latest idea is like, let's see what happens when you drink it.
As somebody
I'm
who
not
works on
gonna
a
drink
science channel, I can vouch for the fact that this is how you do it. You have to try everything first, and then you drink it and see what it does. In this case, it makes your bones dissolve from your head.
Yeah, it deflates Beaker's head, which is like the first in a long line of things happening to Beaker's head. Even earlier in this same sketch, there's a reference to that it made Beaker's hair fall out.
Yes, and he takes his little wig off.
But yes, Beaker, clearly a puppet that they built to have a lot of fun with, like built with these types of things in mind, where you can take your hand out and his head deflates, or later on his head sinks down into his neck or shoots up really high. They built a good puppet with Beaker.
Yeah, I think I don't like Beaker only because so many people who aren't real Muppet fans are like, my favorite Muppet's Beaker. For some reason, he's just like somebody that people latch onto. But in this sketch, I was like, Beaker's electric. Beaker's got it, baby. He is great.
Interesting note, designed by Jim Henson, built by Don Saleen.
I was gonna say that facial structure gets across so much. Just the eyes and the nose and the mouth is like so simple and perfect.
Yeah, I think it reiterates our old standby point from our earliest episodes that Don Saleen makes a hell of a puppet.
Yeah.
And we get Robin's sweet little song singing, I'm 5. I'm 5. I'm not 3. I'm old. I don't remember all the lyrics.
Talks about getting his little booty spanked at one point, I think. Horrible.
Yeah, it's
song.
all about how it's a cute song because it's like from the perspective of a 5-year-old who feels like a grown-up, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not like a dumb 3-year-old baby. I'm 5 years old, damn it.
At one point, he says his legs can reach the ground when he sits in his dad's chair. Clearly a fucking liar. His legs are barely even dangling off the side.
I think he follows that up with like a little bit like almost, which like still is
so.
wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But I hate this little freak.
At the end, he also gets punished because he slips into the song that he originally wanted to do, and gets pulled off by the vaudevillian Kane, which we saw the Kane pulling Mary Louise off of the stage in the previous episode. So apparently they were just like in Kane mode at this point.
We spent all this money on a cane. We're going to use it. I think it's maybe possible that the song they call The Wind Mariah is why they couldn't use this part. Because that's like a pretty famous song from a musical that is not a Disney thing. It's from Paint Your Wagons. So
Yeah.
maybe they just couldn't get the rights from MGM or something like that.
Yeah, it's always wild to me what Disney will like spend money on and what they won't. And like some of the songs that do end up in these episodes that I'm like, oh, you got Beatles songs, but you can't get They Call the Wind Mariah.
Yeah, like even a little segment of it that maybe wouldn't cost as much or something. Also,
Right.
like you're gonna make Luck of the Irish 4, but you're not gonna spend any money on the Muppets. Why?
And this episode ends on a Bernadette Peters number where she sings Applejack with Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers.
Yeah, she's inducted into their cult.
This was another one that just made me miss the Gogolala Jubilee Jug Band. It's a fine number. I have no problem with the number, but I just like, I don't love this jug band.
The Google Alla Jubilee Jug Band went back to Fraggle Rock. Yeah, I like this too. This episode felt like a season 1 episode where Bernadette Peters doesn't get to be in it very much. Kind of takes a while for her to show up in the first place. aside from her 15 seconds to curtain thing.
It does feel very season 1 because she gets to dance around with the Muppets, which is like a very season 1 type of like Juliet Prowse kind of thing. And then she gets her backstage moment where she sings with Robin, which we saw a lot of that with Gonzo and like Valerie Harper kind of moments. And then we get the jug band thing. So yeah, you're right. I think this is a very season 1 episode.
Especially when Kermit could have sung his duet with Bernadette Peters at the beginning instead of Miss Mousy, and Piggy could have been jealous of Bernadette Peters, which is a much more worthy person to be jealous of.
Now we just have to assume that Miss Piggy had Miss Mousy killed off.
Yeah, Miss Mousy's at the bottom of a lake with cement shoes on.
Our last episode we're discussing today is from November 11th, 1977, and it's Milton Berle. We talked a lot about Milton Berle earlier, so we won't talk too much about this potential Bugs Bunny inspiration.
Oh, shut up.
Of a man. But yeah, in production order, this is the 3rd episode of season 2, and the first appearance of Link Hogthrob, Pigs in Space as a concept, and Gonzo's new moving eyelids.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, we will see Milton Berle again in the Muppet movie. And we will also not be able to see, because I haven't been able to find it yet, Kermit appeared on an NBC special in 1978 that was a tribute to Mr. Television, Milton Berle, which is, when I was looking up trying to find that clip, they did like 5 different like tributes to Mr. Television type of things over the years, because I think they kept thinking of like, we got to get in another one before he dies.
Sure.
And then like he kept
He just
living
never
and
dies.
being older and older,
Yeah.
and they're like, I guess we do another Milton Berle tribute?
Yes, he's still out there to this very day.
Haunting the set of Kenan and Kel.
He never got to leave. Oh, no.
But this episode opens up with a classic Milton Berle gag in the back room where he is told, stand by for makeup, and Timmy Monster comes in and yells, makeup, and smashes a giant puff powdery thing into his face.
The Muppets basically torture him through this entire whole episode, pretty much.
Yeah, which I enjoy. I think Milton Berle was one for me because he is such a like classic star, and he's always just kind of Milton Berle-ing it up.
Yeah.
I was a little worried that we might get him at odds with the comedy of the Muppet Show, but he folded right in.
Mm-hmm. He did not.
I think
he did not seem like he was embarrassed to be there, or anything like that, and he didn't phone it in at all. Yeah.
Right, I was a little worried. As much as like I did enjoy the George Burns episode, I was a little afraid that this was going to end up being more like the George Burns or the Edgar Bergen of like, yeah, I'm here. What more do you want from me?
Right.
But we open the episode with not a Milton Berle number. We get Mean Mama and some Frackles singing a song about being ugly. I couldn't really follow it. It was a
too
weird
long of a song, I would say, about being ugly. This was nothing to me.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. I think this sketch was a whole lot of nothing. This was actually one, I think, where unlike the Steve Martin episode, where the highlights in the Steve Martin episode were everything that didn't include Steve Martin.
Yeah.
I think the highlights in this episode were the things including Milton Berle. And when he wasn't around, it was kind of a okay episode.
And he is around a lot, thankfully.
Yeah.
He's in almost every sketch.
Yeah, we get the next section is the introduction of Fozzie being worried about meeting his hero, Milton Berle, which this one actually like feels like it makes sense. I feel like the last time they were going on and on about somebody, it was, who was that? There was an episode where everyone was like, oh my God, he's amazing. He's the best. Kermit, you suck. This guy's the real hero.
Oh, shit. Who was that? Kermit was jealous of... Is Peter Ustinov, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like we got the episode with Peter Ustinov where everyone was constantly saying, this guy's so great. Oh my God, I can't believe he's here. He's amazing.
And it's Peter Ustinov.
Yeah, and it felt like less earned in that episode, whereas in this, people constantly saying, or I guess mostly just Fozzie, being like, oh my God, it's Milton Berle. Feels earned because it's freaking Milton Berle, and he was comedy legend.
Yeah.
So he is a big get for the Muppet Show. But yeah, then we get Milton Berle doing a fantastic bit on stage.
So early. Yeah.
He goes out to do a stand-up routine, and Statler and Waldorf have some amazing heckling going on. They are also top-tier heckling in this episode, where at one point my favorite line was he responds of like, why don't you try coming down here and being funny? And they go, you first! But yeah, I'm guessing it seemed like you enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very funny that actually Milton Berle doesn't barely get to do anything. And I don't think he tells any jokes the entire time, basically. He just looks extremely distraught as he's being destroyed by these two people. It seems weird from the perspective, like from a real life perspective, where Jim Henson and Gonzo guy, whatever his name is,
Dave Goles.
yeah, just get to yell at Milton Berle for 10 minutes or like 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
And it was also Richard Hunt, not Dave Goelz.
Oh, shut up.
Gonzo Guy is not Statler.
Fine. Okay. Well, I take it all back. But yeah, this is very, very funny. I wonder if he like helped write this or something, because he doesn't get to do much in it.
Yeah, and I think this is sort of like Milton Berle's comedy personality was a lot about like responding to hecklers and having lots of like one-liners at the ready. So I have to believe this was either like written as a sort of tribute to him or he was involved in the writing process.
Right. A fun little turnaround on what he would normally do.
I'm still not in love with Pigs in Space.
No, and this one also kind of, if this was the first one, your theory of it being like male chauvinist pigs in space doesn't hold up, because that's not what this is.
No, like they're still like, they don't treat Piggy great in this one, but it's not as clearly like misogynistic as the other ones were. So I don't think this was conceived as a like pigs in space.
Yeah, and she gets jabs in at them as well.
Right.
When I was a kid, I didn't like pigs in space, and I still don't. I don't understand the point of it, and I think it's stupid.
Yeah, the only thing I enjoy about this Pigs in Space is that there's like a reference to it in the next backstage thing.
Yeah.
Where Fozzie is trying to hide from Milton Berle, and he's hiding behind this little sliding panel in a door, and he gets his nose pinched in the door, which is the same thing that happened to Link Hogthrob in the last sketch. And Kermit's like, that's not funny. We already did that.
Yeah, and they give you enough time to be like, they just did that in the last sketch, which seems like something maybe the Muppet Show would accidentally do.
I mean, we're about to get to it. They're about to do the same song twice.
That was weird. Okay.
So we get Milton Berle and Rolf, which immediately excited to see Rolf.
Great, and they talk to each other like Milton's like telling them old showbiz stories, and Rolf's like, "Yeah, I already know that story. I've been in showbiz forever too."
Yeah. There's a tone to when Rolf is playing the entertainer, which is the but he's like playing it really slowly at the beginning. And Milton Berle walks in and he's like, that's the entertainer. And Rolf's like, yeah, dumbass, I know, I'm playing it.
And it's not many people know that this song has words. And Rolf's like, yep, that's true.
Yeah, Rolf is like, dude, you're interrupting me. I was just hanging out, playing some piano. You come over here. There seems to be some debate about when this song got words.
Okay.
It seems like maybe like in the mid 70s is when this song actually got words.
It doesn't seem like a song that would have words.
No, apparently, and again, there's debate about this on the internet, but it got words when it was like added to like learn piano books. Like somebody put out like a learn how to play piano book, and they added words to this song. Huh. So it's also a little weird that like the concept of the sketch is like, not many people know there's words to that song, and it's like, yeah, because we just wrote them like 2 years ago.
Like a few months ago it came out, yeah.
Yeah. But we get another sort of random assortment of Muppets who join in here. It's not the George and the Hildas of the world. It's more like the Can Dancer, the Lydia the Tattooed Lady, and the creepiest frickin' Muppet I've ever seen.
Okay, now, them's fighting words. Which one do you
Whoa!
mean?
I mean the Star-Eyed Clown Girl.
The Star-Eyed Clown, I wrote, is my new favorite Muppet of all time. I love that Star-Eyed Clown.
It's so creepy and so un-Muppet-like in every way.
Oh, I think she's really cool.
I'll post a GIF so she like creepily turns towards you or something, because apparently she did appear once before in the Comedy Tonight sketch. But like I barely remember that one. I don't really remember enjoying that one. I just remember it's a lot of monsters and weird
monsters.
Things jumping out.
I don't remember the Star-Eyed Clown.
So clearly supposed to be a monster.
Oh, I thought she was really cool. She seemed like something somebody would make now. She's got like a weird modern creepiness to her that I thought it was neat.
I was actually surprised. Like she doesn't have a Muppet Wiki page. Like there's not
maybe she's
a
not
lot of
maybe
information.
we're the only ones who can see her.
Oh no. Oh, that's like the universe has rewarded us by letting the two of us only see what is your favorite Muppet and maybe my new least favorite Muppet.
Yeah, we're in hell. I'm in heaven and you're in hell. That's what it is.
Yeah. This is the version. This is the only thing they could come up with. They're like, I don't know, make a weird puppet.
Yeah. I loved this. This was like such a rousing little song that I watched this part twice too.
Yeah, and I think again, if you're gonna have some random Muppets come in and join, like this is the way to do it. Like have like
themed Muppets.
And don't throw in a janitor. And I think the weirdest part about this is that it ends and you're like, that was a fun time. It's a nice little number, and then it cuts to Ralph still sitting at the piano, which again, if there was a
Yeah.
commercial break in this, it would have been a little different. But because we just cut immediately to Rolf sitting at the piano, it's like, what? That's weird that you wouldn't put something between those two. And this is the UK spot now, where Miss Piggy comes in and asks Rolf to just play that song again.
Yeah.
Because she wants to sing it this time. She's going to sing The Entertainer, and she's going to be super flirty and sexy while doing it.
She's crazy. She rubs her boobs in Ralph's face.
And Rolf is like into it, but maybe not at certain points. He covers his face a couple times, but he also is like, oh, hubba, hubba.
She's got sex appeal, my friend. I don't know what to tell you.
Next up, we get the moment I was talking about earlier with Abby Hadfield performing Zelda Rose in a little sketch, singing with an owl. I like the owl puppet a lot.
Yeah, it looked like Boobos or whatever from Jason and the Argonauts or something like that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really understand the song, so I didn't really know what was going on here.
Yeah, not the best.
Yeah,
but,
if Mary Louise got the hook 2 episodes ago, I think Zelda Rose maybe deserves the hook.
Yeah,
as
Zelda
well.
Rose. Which, I mean, kind of. Abby Hadfield didn't get the job, so...
Well, I mean, I don't want in real life her to be fired. That's sad, but...
And then the episode sort of starts to wrap up here with Fozzie still hiding from Milton Berle, but then
behind a
Milton...
big weird basket. Very strange.
Yeah, they're like, where do we hide Fozzie? I don't know. A big weird basket?
It's like
Sure,
a
why
hot air
not?
balloon basket or something.
Yeah. But Milton comes in and is asking where Fozzie is because he's always wanted to perform with Fozzie. And Fozzie's immediately like, oh, okay.
Kermit tells him
I'm
he's
in.
Death Valley, which I thought was very funny.
But then Milton and Fozzie do a classic vaudeville number called Top Banana,
Yeah.
which is apparently a musical based on Milton Berle.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I like, again, anytime they bring in a classic comedy actor and have him pair with Fozzie, I think it's a no-brainer, and it tends to work really well.
I think my favorite part was that Milton Berle was like just barely hanging in there with like not wanting to do the sketch, which was quite funny. And Fozzie was having the time of his damn life.
I also enjoy at the beginning of that sketch where they have like the seltzer water, and Fozzie just like gets it right in Milton Berle's face.
And he looks mad.
Yeah, you can't really get mad at Fozzie, I guess. Yeah, I have a conversation with Frank Oz later on. But yeah, that does it for the episodes this week. I think it's a pretty good batch, a little bit
I
middling
thought so.
in some of them. I think Milton Berle being the last one we watched helps it like land
In
pretty
retrospect, it all
solidly.
seems way... Yeah, the Milton Berle one's one of my favorite of all the episodes we watched so far.
Yeah,
Because it
he's
just
a
has
great
got like
guest.
this pep through the whole thing. Because he's so into it and so like charming and fun. Yeah, this was a fun batch to watch.
Yeah, and even though like the Steve Martin episode has its ups and downs, I do enjoy getting to see a new
Yeah,
perspective on the Muppet Show.
yeah.
But now it's creepy times, and so it's time to talk about our Muppet of the Week. Our creepy Muppet of the Week this week is Count Von Count.
Ooh, very nice theming, Matt.
Yeah, thank you. He's not a vampire.
He's
maybe.
not? Oh.
No, it's confusing. There's a whole wiki page on is he a vampire?
Okay.
Because they have said outright at times, not a vampire. And then other times like, yep, definitely a vampire. So who knows?
Who were they trying to fool?
Regardless, he is heavily based on Bela Lugosi's performance as Dracula. Muppet Wiki says his condition where he has to count everything all the time is called arithmomania,
Oh,
which
like
is
in real life,
apparently-
it's called that.
Right, there's like a real disorder associated with OCD that is like people like it's the sort of like if you drop like a can of beans or something like that, and like it's like the person has to feel like they like have to count the beans that have fallen. So to me it feels weird to say that the Count has this because that feels like we're diagnosing a puppet with a thing that people actually suffer from.
Sure.
So I'm not sure if like he has said he has this or not, but apparently in European folklore, this is actually a trait of vampires.
I've heard that before. I feel like it's just a coincidence that is the Count's shtick, right? But I think people say...
yeah.
I think there's like trivia you'll find online sometimes. It's like, did you know the Count's character is based on the fact that vampires have to count stuff when you drop it?
Yeah, I think it's a lot deeper than it actually is, because I feel like they were just like, hey, what if we called him the Count? And he counted stuff.
Like Count Dracula.
But yeah, according to the 1998 book Sesame Street Unpaved, the Count is, quote, written to represent an adult with the psychological age of someone who is 1,832,652 years old and still counting. But then in 2017, in one of those Wired videos, the Count says he is 6,523,728 years old.
Why are they making him millions of years old? I don't understand that.
I don't know, because you can make him 1,000 years old, and that's still real good.
That's good, yeah. That's as old as a vampire could conceivably be as well.
Yeah, I'm like 6 million years raises a lot of questions about what he was doing for a long time. But yeah, the Count, he has his like little standard green cape you usually see him in, but he switches that out for a purple one when they're shooting on a green screen so that it doesn't disappear.
Figures, yeah.
He also has had different capes when he's been shown as being a caveman Count, a golfing Count, country Count, where he has some nice leather fringe, and even a spacesuit Count. And there's a whole wiki page on Count's capes that I suggest you check out.
He's having some fun with his costuming, huh?
Yeah, he's got a nice plaid cape when he's golfing. It's very good. As I said earlier, he is not a vampire, maybe. Never having been explicitly mentioned on screen as being a vampire.
He's never shown murdering anyone and drinking their blood.
No, and we also see him outdoors in the sunlight, and he doesn't sleep in a coffin. He sleeps in a normal human bed. But a 2009 version of the Count's profile on Sesame Workshop's website refers to the character as a number-friendly vampire.
Well, what are they trying to pull here?
But and the Sesame Street Unpaved book describes him as a numerical vampire.
There's no point denying it or pretending.
But in 2001, Sesame Street Muppets Drawing Guide insists the Count is not a vampire.
Why can't you just let him be a vampire?
And then, in one of those answer Google search questions about yourself videos, the Count answered this question directly of, is the Count on Sesame Street a vampire? And he said, yes. But I am a vampire with an unquenchable thirst for numbers.
That's all you gotta say.
Right? You would think so, but some people still want to deny it. So the Count first appeared on the show on Sesame Street, that is the show in question, in season 4, premiering in 1972, where he's counting blocks with Bert and Ernie. And in the early days, the Count used to be much more menacing and sinister. He hypnotizes other Muppets on the show. In that sketch specifically, he comes in and Ernie has built up a block pyramid and like wants to go get the camera to take a picture of it. And he tells Bert, like, don't do anything, don't touch it, leave it. And so Ernie leaves, and while Ernie's gone, the Count comes in and wants to count the blocks, and he starts moving the blocks around, and Ernie's like, and Bert's like, don't do that. I don't want, like, my friend Ernie, that's what there's blocks. And the Count just, like, waves his hands at Bert's face, and Bert does this, like, little wiggle, like, I'm hypnotized now, and, like, lets him count the blocks.
Wow. So his first appearance is on a Bert and Ernie sketch.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But he has, like, his whole shtick where he's counting, and thunder and lightning happens and all that stuff, so he's pretty much the same since day one. He just gets a little less menacing as the years go on.
Sure.
From 1972 to 2012, the Count was performed by Jerry Nelson. And then in the later years, when Jerry Nelson was having some health issues in the mid-2000s, he would still do the voice, but Matt Vogel took over puppeteering the Count, while Jerry Nelson would like sit offset to the side, performing the voice. And they did that for a number of years until Jerry Nelson died in 2012, and Matt Vogel then took over as the Count and has been doing that since 2013 till now. But the Count also doesn't get used a ton on Sesame Street anymore. The seasons are shorter, the episodes are shorter, and they have like episodes where like you'll have Elmo, Bert and Ernie, but like you won't see Oscar, you won't see the Count. Like the characters are not in every episode anymore.
Right.
As far as the Count's family goes, he has an extended family that we have learned a lot about, as a lot of Sesame Street Muppets do. Every one of his family members looks like him in different wigs and costumes, unsurprisingly. And also, not family exactly, I guess becoming family. The Count does have a love interest, possibly a wife, the Countess, who he proposed to back on an episode in like 1977.
What the heck?
And then, and then in 2016, she appeared on the Furchester Hotel and referenced them being married. So they might be the longest, happiest couple in Muppet history.
That's fascinating.
He has a mother that has mostly appeared in flashbacks when they're showing like little baby Count and his origins. He also has a father that has made one appearance at least in a flashback episode in 1992 where we see the Count leaving Transylvania to travel to America.
Mm-hmm.
He also has a brother and grandparents that have shown up, and it's worth noting that when other counts count, it's not just lightning and thunder that happens. It starts to snow when Grandpa Count counts. And when Grandma Count counts, rain happens.
Okay.
And last, amongst the Count's family, he has an Uncle Uno, which is the only Count that looks any different from the other Counts, in that he has blue skin instead of purple skin. But other than that, he looks exactly like the other Counts.
Okay.
And he only appears in a book, so I guess they were like, we don't need to make a puppet, make him blue.
We'll just color him blue.
And some fun facts about the Count. The Count's favorite TV shows are apparently 24 and 60 Minutes.
Stupid.
Yeah. And according to the Sesame Street bedtime storybook, the Count has a personal cloud that hovers over his head and provides the thunder and lightning when he's counting.
Good for him.
The Count also has a cool car called the Countmobile,
Sure.
which has looked different through the years, but looks its most badass in Follow That Bird. The last little fun fact about the Count, in a clip that I really, really, really wish I could find, is that in 1988, some of the Sesame Street Muppets made an appearance on the Today Show, and the Count co-hosted the Today Show with Meryl Streep.
What? It's like the whole thing?
At least part of the episode. The two hosts of the show were replaced by the Count and Meryl Streep as co-hosts.
Why?
I don't know, but I love it, and I can't find any video evidence of this anywhere on the internet, but I want to see it.
That sounds amazing.
So I know you're a Count fan. What number would you rate the Count out of 5?
I don't have a good grasp. Like, I like the Count. I don't think of him as anything. Like, he doesn't have a lot of character, really. I guess I'd give him like a 3. I think he's cool in theory, but I don't get like extremely excited when he's around like I do with Bert and Ernie. We haven't seen much of him in our watch-throughs, though, like any of him, I think. So maybe I'd like him more if we had been watching him do his thing.
That's true. We'll probably see more of him when we do our next Sesame Street episode.
Yeah. As it stands, I'm always going to love a guy in a haunted castle with lightning and stuff. So he can't get lower than a 3, but I kind of feel neutral on him.
Yeah, similar boat where I enjoy him, but like I'm not like hoping he pops up whenever they're doing Sesame Street stuff. Like I'm glad he's there, but he's kind of a one-note character.
He's a
so
I was going to say.
Yeah, so like when he pops up in those Wired videos, he's a fun guy in there. Especially, I think we've talked about this before on the show. They do one where they ask the Muppets to do impressions of other Muppets.
Oh yeah.
And all of the Count's impressions just sound exactly like his normal voice, but he's like, I am Cookie Monster. So yeah, I'll give him a 47
out of 60.
Yes.
I wish I was smart enough to know what percentage that was off the top of my head, but
that's for Arden to figure out when they put it in their spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So, Sam, did you get to watch any non-Muppet spooky things this week?
Did I? Yes, I did. We watched a few horror movies. We watched Scream 2. I might have talked about that last week, which was fine. Not as good as Scream 1, which is like so fun, but still pretty fun. We watched Halloween Kills, the new Halloween movie, which I was really excited about. Was not bad, but I was disappointed in because I really liked the Halloween 2018, I think, the David Gordon Green one before this one. This one was just kind of messy.
I've heard that. That's like multiple people I have seen describe it as a mess.
Yeah, it has some good moments. I'm curious to see what it looks like when all 3 of them are out.
That's what I've heard is like this one is clearly the like trying to be the Empire Strikes Back, building up to a sequel that,
more so than a lot of scary movies. The people in this movie are incredibly stupid. And like for a movie set in America about like a mob going out to kill somebody, nobody has a gun, which would be extremely helpful to have. And when they do have guns, they get right next to him to try to shoot him, which isn't what you do with a gun. But really quickly, because this episode's going long a little bit, but the thing I watched that was just a complete treasure from start to finish, Midnight Mass, the Netflix. It's a Netflix series. I would recommend you not look up anything about it because you will be instantly spoiled as to a truly amazing twist that happens like 4 episodes in that you will see
closing
coming.
that tab now.
That you will see coming in a hilarious way. Like, you will know that this twist is coming by the time it happens, but then when it happens, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid.
All right.
It's like, I said on Twitter, it's like a episode of Treehouse of Horror, but 7 hours long, in a really good way. And it's also about
that's a positive thing. Yes.
Yeah. In a town full of, it's also about a town full of really stupid people who make really stupid decisions, but it's so creepy and so fun to watch, and like, doesn't take itself too seriously, but also takes itself more seriously than anything I've ever seen in my life. But it was just like really refreshing for some reason, and really like straightforward, dumb fun. Yeah, we just like marathon through all 7 because we were like, this show kind of kicks fucking ass. And yeah, that was Midnight Mass. I liked it a lot. Perfect Halloween watch.
Yeah, this was a week of rewatches for us. We were watching Little Women to get into like that fall feeling.
Ooh,
It's a very
yes,
cozy
nice,
film.
Cozy movie, yes.
Yeah. And then we also watched E.T.
Oh, great Halloween movie that you don't even think of as a Halloween movie, really.
It's a secret Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the new NHL video game came out, so I've been playing a lot of NHL 22.
You've been watching a lot of hockey also.
It's also, it's hockey season, so I've been watching my new favorite team, the Kraken, play some hockey.
Did they win?
They have won a little bit.
Okay. Okay, well, they have time. They're new.
They won 1 game, and they've lost 2 games.
Well, I'm sure everything will be fine.
Oh, yeah, they got plenty of time.
Is hockey something where they play like a billion games, or where they don't play very many games?
They play 82 games a season, so
Whoa.
like more than football, but not like as much as baseball.
Or doesn't basketball play like 105 or something like that?
No, basketball is also like 82.
Oh, I thought they were in the 90s or 100s at this point.
Each team plays regularly an 82-game season, so yeah, I was
okay.
right. I just remember that mostly because there was a big time when the Bulls went 72-10. And so I remember all the T-shirts in Chicago that said 72-10.
Right. Okay.
So that's why it's burned into my brain. But yeah, apparently NHL and NBA have the same number of games per season. That's interesting. And then baseball has like 1,000.
And they each take 8 hours.
Yeah. But that's it for this episode. Next week, we will be checking out what the Muppets were up to between November 18th, 1977 and December 2nd, 1977, which means that we will be watching the next 3 episodes of The Muppet Show in New York airing order, and those are the episodes featuring guests Don Knotts, Teresa Brewer, and John Cleese. And we'll also be checking out a very brief appearance by some Sesame Street Muppets in the Toronto Santa Claus Parade.
Fun.
Yeah, and more fun and less brief, a royal variety performance by some of our Muppet Show Muppets.
Royal Variety Show sounds British.
I think they perform like for royalty. Like there's like a thing every year that happens in England where they put on like a variety show performance. This still happens like up until today, and they will have royalty there, like in a box, like watching the show.
Then they decide if the acts live or die at the end.
Yeah, the trapdoor pulls out.
Yeah.
But before we go, we need to thank our friend Tuna for creating the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. You can follow this podcast on Twitter at CommitmentPod, where you can find the playlist of all the things we watch for each episode. But lately, it's been a lot more of just telling you to watch things on Disney Plus because we can't make a playlist of Disney Plus things.
No.
But you can email us your thoughts if you have things longer than a tweet to say at mail@commitment.com. And you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.